It wasn't the kind of call you expect on a Tuesday night. I just sat down with a beer, half watching a rerun of a show Emma and I used to binge together, when my phone buzzed on the coffee table. It was a text from Josh, a mutual friend who rarely messaged me. "Hey, Liam. Saw something you might want to check out. Call me when you have a minute." Something about the tone felt off. Josh wasn't the type to waste time with vague messages. Curiosity nagging at me, I called him back immediately. "Hey, man," I said as he picked up. "What's going on?" Josh hesitated. I could hear him exhale sharply before he spoke. "Liam, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to rip the band-aid off. I was swiping through Tinder earlier, and, well, Emma's profile came up." I froze, the words hitting me like a brick. "What are you talking about? Emma doesn't have a Tinder account." "That's what I thought," Josh said quickly. "But it's definitely her. Pictures, name, everything." "And it's not, like, an old account. She's active on it. I matched with her as a joke to see if it was fake, and she responded." My stomach turned. "She responded?" "Yeah," Josh said grimly. "And it gets worse. Someone screenshotted her profile and shared it online. It's going viral in one of those local Reddit threads." I hung up without saying goodbye, my hand shaking as I opened my browser and searched for the thread. It didn't take long to find. There it was, Emma's profile, plastered across the top of a post titled, "Local woman has a fiancé but is swiping for fun. Stay classy, Emma." Her bio read, "Just looking for excitement. Nothing serious, winking face dot." The comments were brutal. "Imagine being engaged and pulling this crap. Poor guy probably has no idea. She's not even subtle about it." I stared at the screen, my chest tight. This wasn't just about her betrayal. It was public humiliation on a scale I couldn't have imagined. When Emma got home later that night, I was still sitting in the living room, the post pulled up on my laptop. "Hey, babe," she said casually, dropping her bag by the door. "What's for dinner?" "Why don't you tell me?" I said, my voice icy. "Or better yet, why don't you tell me what you've been doing on Tinder?" She froze, her smile faltering. "What are you talking about?" I turned the laptop toward her, letting her see the post. Her face went pale. "Liam, I don't," I snapped, cutting her off. "Don't you dare lie to me." Emma's face remained frozen as she stared at the laptop screen. The blood drained from her cheeks, and for the first time in years, I saw something that looked like genuine fear in her eyes. "Liam," she stammered, her voice trembling. This isn't what it looks like." I let out a bitter laugh, leaning back in my chair. "Oh, it's not. Because it looks like my fiancé is on a dating app, looking for excitement." I gestured toward the screen. "And the entire city knows about it." Her eyes flicked back to the screen, scanning the comments that dragged her name through the mud. She reached out as if to close the laptop, but I grabbed it before she could. "Don't," I snapped. "You don't get to pretend this isn't happening. Start talking, Emma." She hesitated, her hands twisting together. "It's not like I was actually meeting anyone," she said, her voice soft, almost pleading. "It was just a stupid thing I did. For fun." "Fun?" I repeated, the word tasting bitter in my mouth. "You think this is fun? Swiping on strangers while you're engaged to me? Letting the whole world think I'm an idiot who didn't notice?" She flinched at the sharpness in my tone. "I didn't think it would go this far," she said, tears welling in her eyes. "Then what exactly did you think would happen, Emma?" I demanded, slamming the laptop shut. "That no one would find out? That you could just keep doing this behind my back?" She sank onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. I didn't mean for it to get out of hand, she sobbed. I crossed my arms, refusing to soften. How long? She didn't look up. How long, Emma? I said again, my voice rising. How long have you been doing this? A few months, she whispered. My stomach churned. A few months? While I'd been planning our wedding, thinking about our future, she'd been sneaking onto dating apps, pretending to be single. Why? I asked, my voice quieter now, but no less angry. Why would you do this? Were you bored? Lonely? What excuse are you going to give me for this? She finally lifted her head, her tear-streaked face a mix of guilt and desperation. It's not like that, she said. I wasn't bored with you. I don't know. I wanted to feel something different. Something exciting. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. So I'm not exciting enough for you? I asked bitterly. No, she said quickly, shaking her head. That's not what I meant. Liam, I love you. You mean everything to me. This wasn't about you. It was about me. My insecurities, my stupid need for validation. I didn't want to hurt you. Well, congratulations, I said coldly. You did a fantastic job of that anyway. The silence between us stretched, heavy and suffocating. I ran a hand through my hair, trying to make sense of what she just said. So let me get this straight, I said finally. You didn't meet anyone, but you still thought it was okay to go online and let strangers think you were available? And you're telling me this was just for validation? She nodded, sniffling. I shook my head, laughing bitterly. Do you even realize how ridiculous that sounds? How humiliating this is for me. I know, she said, her voice breaking. I know I screwed up, Liam. I was stupid and selfish, and I hate myself for it. I stared at her, searching for any sign of the woman I thought I knew. But all I saw was a stranger, a selfish, manipulative stranger who had decided that her need for attention outweighed everything we'd built together. And then something occurred to me. You said you weren't meeting anyone, I said slowly. But Josh told me you responded when he matched with you. Care to explain that? Her eyes widened, her breath hitching. Josh? Yeah, I said. He swiped right on your profile, and you didn't hesitate to message him back. So what was that, Emma? Just more fun. She opened her mouth to respond but stopped, realizing she was cornered. I didn't know it was him, she said finally, her voice small. Does that make it better? I shot back. I stood, pacing the room as anger bubbled up inside me. This wasn't just some stupid mistake, Emma. You didn't trip and fall onto Tinder. You made a conscious decision to create a profile, upload pictures, and start swiping. And for what? To feel validated by strangers? To throw our relationship away for some cheap thrill? I didn't think it would hurt anyone, she said, her voice barely audible. Well, it did. I snapped. You didn't just hurt me, you embarrassed me. Everyone knows, Emma. Everyone. How do you think that makes me feel? Her silence was deafening. I stopped pacing, turning to face her. I don't even know who you are anymore, I said quietly. Liam, please, she begged, standing and reaching for me. I'll delete the profile. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. Just don't give up on us. I stepped back, avoiding her touch. You already gave up on us, I said, the moment you decided I wasn't enough for you. The next few minutes passed in silence as I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. I need time to think, I said, my voice cold. Don't expect me to come back tonight. Liam, she called after me, but I didn't look back. As I drove aimlessly through the city, her words echoed in my mind. She claimed it wasn't serious, that it was just a mistake. But how could I trust someone who had so willingly betrayed me? I didn't have an answer yet, but one thing was clear. This wasn't something I could forgive easily. I didn't go back that night. Instead, I checked into a small motel on the outskirts of town, where the only sound was the faint hum of the vending machine down the hall. I lay on the stiff mattress, staring at the ceiling, her words echoing in my mind. It wasn't serious. It was just for validation. I didn't want to hurt you. Her excuses felt like salt on an open wound. They weren't answers. They were attempts to shift the blame away from what she'd done. The next morning, my phone buzzed incessantly with calls and texts from Emma. I ignored them all. Instead, I called Josh. Hey, he said cautiously. You okay? No, I replied bluntly. But I need more details. Did she? Did Emma say anything when you matched with her? Josh sighed, and I could hear the hesitation in his voice. Liam, I didn't want to tell you because I wasn't sure how you'd handle it, but yeah, she messaged me first. What did she say? She said something like, didn't expect to see you here, but I guess we all need a little fun sometimes. My grip on the phone tightened. A little fun. I repeated, my voice bitter. Josh sighed again. I'm sorry, man. I wish it wasn't true. By the time I left the motel, I'd made up my mind. I wasn't going to let her manipulate me into staying. When I got home, Emma was waiting in the living room, her face pale and drawn. Liam, she said, standing as I walked in. Can we talk? Sure, I said coldly, dropping my keys on the counter. Let's talk. She hesitated, as if bracing herself for a blow. I'm so sorry for everything, she began, her voice trembling. I know I hurt you, and I'll do whatever it takes to fix this. You keep saying that, I said, crossing my arms. But you haven't explained why you did it. Not really. Her eyes filled with tears. I already told you. I wasn't looking for anything serious. I wanted to feel wanted, Liam. I wanted to feel special. And I wasn't making you feel that way? I asked, my voice sharp. She shook her head quickly. It wasn't you. It was me. I'd been dealing with insecurities, I guess. And instead of talking to you about it, I made the stupidest mistake of my life. I let her words hang in the air for a moment before replying. Do you realize how humiliating this has been for me? People I know have seen that post, Emma. They're laughing at me, calling me a fool. And the worst part? They're not wrong. Her tears fell freely now, but they didn't move me. I'll delete the profile, she said desperately. I'll get off social media entirely if that's what it takes. Just don't leave me, Liam. Please. I shook my head, the weight of her betrayal settling on my chest. You already left me, Emma. The moment you decided to swipe on someone else, you made your choice. And now I'm making mine. I walked past her to the bedroom and grabbed a duffel bag from the closet. As I packed my things, she followed me, begging me to reconsider. We can fix this, she sobbed. I'll go to therapy. I'll do anything. Just tell me what you want. I want my dignity back, I said, zipping up the bag. And I can't have that if I stay with someone who made me a joke to the entire city. Her sobs grew louder as I slung the bag over my shoulder and walked out of the apartment. The first few weeks were tough. Mutual friends reached out, trying to get me to talk to her to work things out. But I shut them down. She made her choice. I told them. Now I'm making mine. One day, I saw her profile pop up again on social media, not Tinder, but her usual polished, curated self. The caption read, "Starting over isn't easy, but it's a chance to grow." I closed the app and deleted her from my contacts. Months later, I found myself sitting in a quiet bar, talking to someone new. Her laugh was genuine, her eyes kind, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something I hadn't realized I had lost: hope. Emma's betrayal had broken me, but it hadn't destroyed me. And now, I was finally ready to move forward.